Charlene. How have you been doing? Well, my word, I really am pleasantly surprised at how well you're doing so quickly. You must be just beside yourself. Well, before we get started, let me pull out a few things from my handbag. I really need to learn to carry less in my purse. It takes me a while to find what I'm looking for. Always. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, yes. It's, I got it at, let's see, Naturalizer. I'm pretty sure. Yes. On 4th Avenue. Here we go. This is the little surprise I have for you. Okay. So let's see. Get in my calendar. Need to fill that book up. I know I've got enough for, I think, one of the platters. Okay. Oh, yes, that would be wonderful. Let's see. Something cold, I think. It's kind of a mild day today, surprisingly. Oh, Coke would be great. Thanks. Thank you so much. Oh, no worries at all. Don't forget, I have children too, although mine are older than yours. Okay, very refreshing, thank you. So, believe it or not, we are here for your third and final training session. And if you don't mind, I'm going to just dig into your materials here. Why don't we start with what's on top? That's your order form. And like I said, I cannot believe you have 47 customers. So let me get my pen here and I'll look this over. So it looks like you are putting the little tick marks as the orders come in, because that number changes almost every day. And let me ask, when did you total the numbers for the total column? Wonderful. Okay. That's a very good idea. Let me tell you two things. It's important that you, as you did, wait to do your totals until you really are ready to send in this form. The reason I say that is because inevitably, even when I think I have made all of my visits and the campaign has come to a close and I'm ready, let's say tomorrow morning I'm going to send in the order and it's, early evening, but the campaign is over. Inevitably, I will receive a phone call that evening, and someone will want to put in a last minute order. Now, if I've already mailed the form, then there's nothing to do about that. But if I haven't, I can always add another tick mark and wait to do my totals until the last few minutes before I go to the post office. So, and then the last thing, I think I mentioned this last time, and that has to do with when you start making your tick marks. And when I first started in this business, I used to think that it was kind of smart to do things as I go along throughout the campaign period. So in the evening, if I had some time, I might and start making tick marks and think, okay, so then tomorrow evening I'll do the same thing. But one of the problems with that is you will inevitably forget where you left off, or you may get busy and skip a night of tallying orders. So I always wait until the day before or the day of and do my tallies, and then do my from here, and then do my totals. Basically all in the same step. And that way you're not forgetting anything, you're not leaving anything out, you're certainly not leaving anyone out if they give you a last minute phone call. You know, I have found that inevitably women share our specials with their friends and family, their sisters and mothers. So that's usually where the last minute phone calls come from. So anyway, so let me just do a quick proofread, if you don't mind. So we have 2, 3, 4, 6 tick marks. Wow. Vitamoist cream. I'm not surprised by that. 1, 2, 1 and 1. We have 1, 2, 7, 1, 4, 5, 4, 2, and then 1, 1, 5, So you have 7 Regents, and that's the cream sachet, and you have 5 Regents in Beauty Dust. And again, if this tells you anything, because I'm not surprised by this, but remember that Regents is one of the samples that you were able to supply for your new customers. And again, if you allow your customers to try the product, they will buy the product. Our products speak for themselves. It really is so easy to sell Avon. Okay, so we have 1, 1, and 5, 2, 1, 3, 1 and 1. We have another 7, and this is in the Talc Cotillion. So this makes me think that you have really a perfect territory, probably one that has not been served by an Avon representative for quite some time. Cotillion is one of our oldest fragrances, and so when I see an uptick in something like that, especially in a first order, that tells me that women already love Avon. They already have their favorite fragrances, and they've just been waiting for you to come knocking at the door. 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, and 1. Okay. And then have you totaled? Yes, 83 items in your first campaign. So very impressive. So 20, 46, minus 3 is going to be 83. That's correct. So your district number, and this is the same no matter. Well, your account number is not going to change either. But as far as everyone in the same district, our number is 1, 5, 7. 157. And then your account number, let's look on your first step. Okay. Here we go. So your account number is 4, 2, 3, 1, 1, 6, 7, 1. And that's, again, always going to be the same for you. It's unique to you. No other Avon representative shares this account number, and it's so very important that you record it correctly on your form. One last thing. So, there are a couple of boxes up here that I'd like to explain. Sales aids over here. Again, you'll pay for these yourself, but some of these go a long way. So as we noted, the fragrance sampler was part of your welcome kit, so that was free of charge. Well, you selected one of those samplers, your choice. So that means that there is the lip sampler and the foundation sampler that are still available for you to purchase at a deeply discounted price. It's practically nothing, but anything that you check here will be added to your overall order due to Avon. And this number that you owe Avon will go up, and it will reduce the profit that you make from that particular campaign. And so you've got sales bags, brochures, color charts, sample packets, so you can order more sample packets like this. But again, look at how well offering the samples did for you in your sales this time. And then, like I said, the big samplers. So All right. So you selected the fragrance sampler as the free item that comes with your welcome kit. And as you saw last time, we have the lip sampler and the foundation sampler. As I recommended last time, the best sampler to start with is the fragrance sampler. So many of our products are fragrance based, and believe it or not, fragrance is the easiest part of Avon to learn. It's also where Avon got its start with fragrance. It was initially known as the Avon Perfume Company. So you made a wise choice in selecting this sampler to start out your welcome kit. We'll talk about these in just a few moments. But my question to you is whether or not for this order you would like to order one or both of the other samplers. A lot of representatives do like to go ahead and have one of these. It really is up to you. Okay. Then what you're going to do is find the lip sampler right here, and I just put a big check there. There's no reason to put a number unless, of course, you plan to order 2 of these at the same time. No need whatsoever for that. So, even though this is our last official training session, we have lots of time and opportunity to talk about other facets of selling Avon and bringing you up to a level of expertise that you feel comfortable with each of our products. So I'll be happy to discuss with you our lip colors and good practices for using the sampler at another time. You can just give me a call when you think you're ready. So you can expect a sampler like this. When this order comes in. All right, so this is ready to go. All you need to do is take your top copy, fold it, and pop it in the mail. Alright, so believe it or not, we are at your first, here's your third. We're going to look at your third step in this journey, which is call again for new customers. Now, it might sound either a bit obvious or a bit familiar. In your second step, we discussed that dependable customer service means reorders. So when you deliver an order, you're asking for a reorder, either of that product or of a different product. It's going to depend what the product is. That is not the same thing as calling again for new customers. What we are talking about here is not reorders. It's about new orders from new customers. But the idea of calling again has to do with the fact that many of your first attempts to make contact with customers did not end in personal contact. So we have the overview. Get acquainted with your new customers and take orders. And then when you deliver orders, ask for reorders. Your third step to success, add new customers to your list. Increase your Avon income. New customers keep your Avon business growing. And even if you can't devote as much time, for example, as I do to selling Avon, that doesn't mean that what you're trying to do is get your customer count up to my levels. But what it does mean is that whatever level you're comfortable with, that you want to go above that level so that as current customers fall off or maybe they don't order often, that you are bringing in enough new customers to offset that. That's all we're talking about here. So 30 customers, or 30 customer orders, I should say, equals approximately $45 in earnings. We discussed this a little bit last time, so you may be comfortable with trying to maintain 30 customers or 60 or 100. That number is probably going to be on the lower end as you get started. But how do you get more customers? Call back on people who didn't buy the first time. Offer Avon products and dependable service. All kinds of people will become your customers. The people who were too busy when you first called, they didn't have time to talk. the all stocked up or not interested people. Depending on which of your customers have used or have worked with an Avon representative in the past, they actually may be stocked up. They may stock up, particularly when certain specials come out. And the not at home people. So, too busy, not interested, not at home. Again, not interested means not interested now. Any negative response means not today. It doesn't mean not ever. There's a first-time purchase for everyone. Smile, be pleasant, and call back. And when you are not asked in, leave a callback brochure. It can sell for you while you're working somewhere else. May I leave this with you? It's full of new ideas. I'll pick it up tomorrow. We've already discussed that. Your first call introduced you. It's time to call again. Again, people who did not make an order the first time. And say something new. Try this. Hold the brochure open to the most popular special and say, "Hello, I'm," in your case, Charlene, your Avon representative. Here's a money-saving special offer I'd like to show you. You can hold a new product in your hand. Those products that we talked about, the sales aids, that you can, that you will receive every shipment unless you mark your form otherwise. This is a brand new fragrance, shampoo, lipstick for you to try. May I come in? Or hold a fragrance product in your hand and say, Avon has so many famous fragrances. Would you like to try this one? Every Avon product is guaranteed. What about the not at home people? They are an interesting bunch. The housewife may be shopping, visiting, or working. Leave a customer service reminder with or without a sample. If you've called on someone a time or two and they haven't been home, now is a good time to leave a sample like this. I tend to reserve using these samples for people who are home but are not interested in ordering. But after a couple of not at home calls, I absolutely will try one of these. Try calling a different time of day. And that's why keeping your notebook up to date with details about each of your customers and potential customers, having a map of your territory is important, noting what time of day you tend to call. Particularly if one of your customers tells you to call again at that same time, that's good for her. Or maybe you have a conversation at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday and she welcomes you in that particular day, but then says, Wednesday afternoons are actually better for me. get her name from a mailbox or a neighbor and phone for an appointment. Just use your trusty phone book. You have the address, get the name, and make the phone call. I'm sorry I missed you. We have a new product for you to try or exciting special. May I stop in this evening, or may I stop in on Saturday? Chances are, if you're having difficulty with a not at home potential customer, it's because she's working. Many housewives work. Working people often become your best customers. They're not going to be your most available customers, but they often become your best customers. They use more cosmetics. They have more money to spend. They have less time to shop in person, out and about. They appreciate your time-saving service. You can make an Avon stop in 15 minutes, and she can get what she needs when she needs it without leaving her home. So for the working woman, evenings and Saturdays are your best times. So your next step, call back on every home. Add new customers to your list. Make your Avon income grow. Let's plan your progress. So you have 47 customers now. The number of customers you need, 15 more, is going to put you right around 60 customers. And again, I mean 60 customers who are active. And that would bring you approximately $90 in income for those 60 orders. You're not going to get 60 orders in a campaign. Well, knowing you got 47, so you very well may. To serve 2 to 3 customers an hour, you need many customers. Some you'll spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes with them. Others you'll knock on the door and leave a callback card. Others you will speak with them at the door and leave a sample. In some cases you're going to leave a card because no one's home. So you can serve 2 to 3 customers an hour in one form or another. And so finally, your 3 suggestions for success. Get acquainted. Call on every home. You had no difficulty with that. Write reorders. Show, suggest, and sell. And so, as you make the deliveries from this order, after it arrives and you bag up each order, this is when you're going to work on reorders with existing customers. And then call back for customers that did not order, either because they weren't interested, they weren't home, or they said they were too busy or something like that. You're well on your way to success. I will continue to help you. You continue to call back for new customers. So, what do you think? Exactly. You're very observant, not only in terms of how being an Avon representative works, but also you're observant about your customers. And that's really how customer service works. You can't serve a customer if you do not know what their needs and their interests are. So let's see. One thing I'll show you. When you get your lip sampler, this is obviously going to help, but you can pull out this card quickly to get an overview of lip colors very quickly, and that can help you narrow down the discussion a bit before you actually pull out samples. Also, there are some coordinating nail colors here. We will talk about nail color later, but allowing your customer to see how a particular color coordinates with lip color can often help you to make a double sale. And the last thing that I want to talk about with you today is your Avon Beauty book. I don't know if you've had a chance to browse. Well, I'll give you this. You have been busy. But what I would like to show you today is really two things. So we have the table of contents, and you'll see that we have chapters on skincare, makeup, hand and nail care, hair care, fragrances, personal care, men, teens, babies, and children. And I'd like to draw your attention to briefly to skincare. As I mentioned last time, I always like to have the Cream Supreme and the Vitamoist with me with customers who are not already using those products, and that is because beauty begins with health. And before we think about makeup, lipstick, foundation, mascara, eyeshadow, it's important for you really to be your customer's advocate. And the best way that you can advocate for your customer is to emphasize the importance of the health of her skin first. So I'll let you read the skin care section on your own. It talks talks about different products and also different ingredients. Things like estrogen for our older customers, vitamins A and D, you name it, different skin conditions, different skin types. We have so many different moisturizers for the face, the hands, the body. Instructions for cleansing the skin gently, freshening the skin, tightening pores, conditioning, moisturizing, lubricating, and so on. Eye emollients, troubled skin. I'm sure you'll have some questions after you read that section. Again, we can talk later. The next section is makeup, and I'd like for you to skip that section for the time being. And let's see. Here we go. Fragrances. Avon calls fragrance beauty's fourth dimension. I think that's a nice sentiment. So this chapter is going to teach you about fragrance, specifically about perfume. It goes into some detail about a perfume's top note, a middle note, or we call it the heart or the body of a perfume, and the base notes of a perfume, how long each one of those notes lasts when someone wears a fragrance. And then we talk about different types of ingredients that are used to create those notes. It's very important that you read these because some of these are not necessarily well known, I would say. We think of things like vanilla and spice and rose, jasmine. These are all natural ingredients and have been used in perfumes for centuries. But it's only very recently, in the last 30 years or so, that a man-made ingredient, we call them aromatics or aldehydes. And let me just read this to you. Special and very complex man-made chemicals that have opened up new doors to the perfumer, giving him odors never before attainable, odors not duplicated in nature's collection. And I'm trying to think, it might be Chanel number 5, might have been the first perfume to use aldehydes. I'm not 100% certain about that. So don't tell anybody else that, at least until I find out for sure. So it's important to understand sort of the mechanics or maybe the alchemy of fragrance. But this is really the most important part. We've got the types of fragrance products. So it could be perfume, perfume oil, cologne, sachet, a powder sachet or cream sachet. But this is the part I really wanted you to see. Basic fragrance selling rules. Give a fragrance try-on at every call. Give regular customers an opportunity to become reacquainted with all Avon fragrances. And it's important that you don't allow the customer to try on more than 3 fragrances at a time. Otherwise, the nose will become overwhelmed and the olfactory senses can no longer distinguish one fragrance from another. But what you'll see here is a description of each one of our fragrances. Cotillion, for example. Gracious, poised. This scent is a delicate blend of oriental wood notes, rich amber, and florals in a southern garden, recapturing the sweetness, spice, and romance of a past era. Knowing these descriptions, studying them, will be so crucial for you as you work with the fragrance samples. You want to go beyond simply opening up a sample and saying, "Do you like it?" Sometimes telling a customer about the fragrance, the top notes, the middle notes, the base notes, is just as important. It can sometimes help them weed out other fragrances if they don't like, for example, the smell of roses. And I do know some people that don't care for that. They might love roses, of course, but they don't want to wear that fragrance. Then talking about the fact that rose might be in the top note of a particular fragrance can be informative for both you and the customer. Okay? And then you could say, well, since you don't care for roses, we might want to go ahead and rule out these 2 right here. This one also has rose. This one has a floral top note that is reminiscent of rose. That sort of thing. If they don't care for sandalwood in a base note, you will know, based on the description of these fragrances, which ones to highlight and which ones to minimize. So that's very important. All right. Like I said, you're very intuitive, very observant, and I foresee no issues in your work with fragrance. So, let's see. This is yours. That's your free. And then the lip sampler will come with your first order. So, finally, I'm so happy to be able to offer you there we go, your very own Avon pen. I wear mine most every time I call on customers. Sometimes I do forget to change it from one dress to another, but it's a very easy pin to work with. Put on your dress, wear it proudly. Congratulations, your formal training is complete. Let's see. There we go. If you're gentle with your beauty showcase, she will become your best friend. Okay. Charlene, I know you are just going to be a natural. You already are. I really look forward to working with you quite a bit in your Avon business and introducing you soon to some of our other Avon representatives on the team. Yes, it's getting dark. Still not used to these hours, the darker evenings. But I do want to walk home before it gets too dark and I have got to get dinner on. So, don't hesitate to call me. As always, put your order form in the mail first thing tomorrow. And then when your shipment arrives, if you have any questions, just let me know. There will be instructions in the first shipment. I don't expect that you will have any problems, so. Of course. Okay. Well, let me know.